did you start when did you publish your first thing? And um what made you decide to go do to self-publish it versus something else?
Um, I cannot remember the date that I published my first thing. I was a teenager when I was writing it.
Hmm.
I know that, but I don't remember the exact date. I mean, um, but I think the reason I decided to go indie was just the creative freedom. Like,
Hmm.
a publisher isn't going to let a newbie author illustrate their book. They're not
Yeah,
going to give them that kind of. It's going to be a lot more controlled, especially when you're an unknown and they don't trust that you can, you know, do it
right.
perfectly. So, yeah, I think it was mostly just the creative freedom of I had stories that I wanted to tell, and I didn't really want to mold them to be what somebody else wanted them to be. I wanted it to be
Yeah.
the story I had in mind originally. So,
I think that's what I've been hearing from most everyone is they just want to be in
yeah.
control of things and in control of the process too, like what you're saying, like they
Hmm.
wouldn't probably wouldn't let you illustrate your own book and you're like, I want to illustrate my own book. So, you know.
Well, most books, especially first ones, don't even have illustrations. So
Hmm.
it's like it has to be a special edition to get those at this
Yeah.
point. So,
So, with the writing process, we know you plot a little, kind of pants a little. Do you have any
mix of both.
specific kind of routines that you go with? Like, is there like you have a spot in the house, specific?
Yeah, I mean, I have a desk that I do my art and writing. It's kind of half computer, half paper.
Hmm.
Um, I'm I work better at night. Like once the sun goes down, I just feel more creative, so I usually do that. Um, I like to have music in the theme of what I'm writing just to get my head in it. So
Hmm.
I listen to a lot of like Uncharted for my first novel.
Yeah,
So
music's really big. That's a big one for me. I have a specific album by
yeah.
Joe Blankenberg is
Oh yeah.
the artist, and I have this one album of his, and that's what I listen to when I write my current story because it
Yeah.
just like the moment I heard it, I was like, this sounds exactly like what I want it to sound like.
Do you ever write with like lyrics?
So I've tried that. So it gets distracting for me. So like the two things that get distracting for me is I can't listen to anything that's like from a movie soundtrack. So like listening to like
Mm,
the Lord of the Rings soundtrack or Harry Potter. So like I couldn't
yeah.
listen to that because it just makes me go like into that
You think of the
story.
scenes from the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I can't, yeah, like any lyrics just kind of throw me off. It just distracts me because I'm a musician originally. And
Oh
so
yeah.
I'm a big music guy. And so when I start listening to lyrics, I want to like listen to the lyrics, you know? So that's kind of, it just gets too distracting
There's a
for me.
few songs I've been able to listen to with lyrics that I can still write to them, but it's like it's not most songs. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. It just depends on the music.
Yeah.
When I was writing my mysteries, because they're all kind of 40s setting, I listen to a lot of like 40s music, and those usually have lyrics. So, but I don't know, it kind of almost becomes another instrument at a
Hmm.
certain point, especially if it's music you've heard a lot. At
Yeah.
least for me, it's yeah,
Yeah. Well, so like I'm a big Blink-182 fan, so you can tell from my shirt. And so that's like the stuff I would normally listen to just as music. And so
mhm.
it's not really very conducive for writing a novel.